Oh man, I forgot to put my auto tracking in. It's not gonna auto track, but that's okay. What up, fight fans? We are back at it with another edition here at Round One Sports TV. I'm your host, Edwin. Where the war fight start? Round one. So let me know where you guys are tuning in here. I'm gonna try something real quick. This is let's see if I can get this to go. Damn it. I should have said it from the beginning. But anyway, what's up, guys? How you guys doing out there in the boxing world? Let's talk about what it transpired between Mexico and Japan right now, and what that means for the landscape of boxing and future boxing matches, and all that and more, and everything that you guys want to talk about. We're gonna get right into it, right? All right. So, uh, Eduardo Sugar Nunez just finished up his matchup out in Japan, and versus Masatonor Riguchi, Ria, Rika Rikishi. Damn, I'm messing up his name big time, huh? But he was a Japanese fighter where the opponent, they fought for the 130-pound vacated IBF champion of the world. And unfortunately, Japan fell short in this matchup right here. Eduardo Sugar Nunez, he looked good. Reminds me of Nick Ball in a way, right? Like Nick Ball style type thing, right? Little short, compact fighter, you know. And as you can see early in the fight, I went and I watched the fight. Um, Nunez hit him with something in the first round that quickly got Rikishi their gun shy. In the second round, he barely threw a punch. And then in the third round, he got his little confidence when in the closing seconds in the second round, he hit him with a pretty decent check hook. So going into like the third, fourth round, Rigishi, he started like fighting and stuff, but Eduardo Nunez's power was a little too much, and then he started to break him down as the rounds started going by. Congratulations to Mexico right now. If you want to include like the interim championships or the regular belts and everything, I think that adds up to like 6 world titles, Mexican fighters in every division and shit. Like for each champion, I think they have 6 champions right now in Mexico. I gotta go look that up because a lot of faces on BoxRec changed too as well. Ironically enough, guys, I wanted to ask you guys this question right here, right? Okay. I'm gonna have to put a box rec up on my screen over here. Bear with me for a second because I don't want to say anything prematurely because they did just upgrade box rec. So before I say anything, they might have already fixed it. So let me check out what they have. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Um wow, they upgraded a lot here in box rec. They switched up a lot of all right. See, my thing was they still got Vasily, the IBF world champion, yeah. Okay. And then do they have Richard Hitchison? Yep. And then the IBF is Jerron Busen is here. Okay, 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 okay. It seems like they upgraded everything. Yeah, it seems like they upgraded everything, which is good. So, my thing is this, guys, right? Check this out, right? Eduardo Nunez wins that belt right there. Now, that can be a potential matchup later if Lamont Roach was to go back down and defend his 130-pound championship of the world. And that they're both styles, Lamont Roach and Eduardo Sugar Nunez, they're both styles will like match up and clash pretty good. So I like that fight right there. Now, interesting enough, there was an announcement. I think it took place yesterday, and I didn't catch it until I went onto the Boxing News website, where that Junto Nakatoni is rumored to want Espinoza at 126. He wants to jump over Naoya Inoue, challenge Espinoza, get the belt, and that Naoya Inoue moves up from 122 to 126 to fight Junto. So Junto's team and them announced that their next move, I guess, to get in front of the Naoya Inoue train, they're gonna go after Espinoza. And I was like, wow, that's crazy, right? Because Espinoza being the taller man makes sense for Junto. It'll be an easier fight. If you're on the height of him, right? Now let's just look at this, right? Espinoza, his height, right? Espinoza's no secret. He's a freak of nature. He's at 126. He's 6'1". He's 6'1", right? Okay, cool. That's great. But Junto as a champion, I think he's 5'9", 5'10". Let me see what Junto is. Hold on, guys. Give me a second. Junto's wow, they got him at 5'8". They got Junto at 5'8" inside Box Rec. Looks taller than that, than 5'8". I thought he was taller than me. What's up, guys? How you guys doing? What's up, Jack? What's up, Mohammed? What's up? Can I send you $1,000, bro? Is you zesty? You guys are crazy. What's up, Carlos? How you doing? Yo, it was a very good fight, bro. It was a very good fight, Carlos. And the thing is that like Eduardo Nunez right now can put himself in position, right, to bigger fights. Lamont Roach got a buzz off that Tank Davis fight. I mean, even if Tank Davis stops him or whatever, man, you're gonna have to give it to him. He was able to get a rematch or put himself in situation, right? So that's good, for Lamont Roach, and he still holds on to that title at 130. You know what I'm saying? A Navarrete fight, is another possibility. Or Shasi Foster, he's rumored to fight Stephen Kubo Fulton. So like I think they gonna be a little tied up, and Navarrete, Navarrete will fight anybody. That style right there, that come forward pressure that Eduardo Nunez possesses and shit, right? Like, could it, you know what I mean? Or is it gonna be like a Nick Ball like type situation with Navarrete? You know what I mean? Like a little boring fight because both fighters are a little awkward, but Nunez is more skilled. With his awkward nature that Eduardo Nunez, Sugar Nunez has, he might be a little awkward, right? But make no mistake, my man got skills. He knows exactly what he's doing, and he knows how to nullify the jab. You just seen what he did to Rikishi. He kept pawing out like that and nullifying Rikishi's jab, and then he kept extending his hand and measuring him. He was measuring the distance between him and Rikishi a lot. Eduardo Nunez understands distance, timing, and he was setting up shots. He's a bit more, he's not as wild as like, like these other fighters, like a Nick Ball, where he's like more of a lunging and bludgeoning fighter. Nick Ball's more kind of like a brawler in a way, right? He does utilize the jab, but it's basically the same 4 or 5 punches that Nick Ball throws. That's his offense. Eduardo Nunez has 2 or 3 more punches in his arsenal. That's the difference between them. But Eduardo Nunez, he showed how to systematically shut him down. And even when Rikishi was trying to get like his courage in the fight to try to get in rhythm, bro, he would just put his guard up, block that stuff, and then just hit him with hard shots. It was a well contested fight. But Mexico and Japan, they got a huge rivalry, bro. That's a huge rivalry. You want to know why? Because besides Luis Pantera Nari, that won that belt in Japan, but it got stripped because he tested positive. So technically, in some people's eyes, but then he beat him in the second time. He didn't test positive, but he came in overweight 5 pounds. He still accepted the fight, so now you gotta give him that type shit. But when he missed weight 5 pounds, he wasn't qualified to win the belt. You feel me? So, so did he really win the belt? Other than that whole debacle, Mexico hasn't won a belt in Japan in fucking years, bro. Japan has shut Mexico down. Anybody that comes from Mexico out there, them Japan dudes was scraping them. I think it's like 6, 7 years, some shit like that, since a Mexican fighter stepped into Japan and won a belt. Japan's been rocking them, bro. That rivalry is like, it's like almost like, it's kind of like Filipino rivalry versus Japan. That rivalry is rich. Them dudes be battling out because they're the smaller dudes. And the best fights right now, as of right now, is in Japan. The best money fights is out there. Thank God to Naoya Inoue, which is arguably the best fighter, generational fighter of our generation right now. There's been a lot of legends that's came, the Muhammad Ali's, the Floyds, the Sugar Ray Leonards, the Sugar Ray Robinsons. They've a lot of these guys have had their era and moments and stuff. And right now, I truly believe that Japanese dude is something else, bro. Naoya Inoue, boy, that man is something else. And his style of fighting is very, very exciting. It's a very dangerous style because it's that kind of style that you can get you in trouble. Like Marvelous Hagler, the Marvelous one. The Marvelous Hagler was a lefty southpaw that he stood in front of you, bro. He stood in front of you. He slipped punching and punching back. The Marvelous one gave his opponents mad opportunities to catch him because his style was in your face. The Marvelous one fought you in the middle of the ring. And he just took it and he was relentless with his forward pressure. Marvelous Hagler always put that pressure on dudes, bro. If you couldn't keep up with his punch volume, bro, he was gonna shut you down, bro. Marvelous was, he was amazing, man. Shouts out to the Marvelous one. God rest your soul, baby. Fun fact. I believe Marvelous Hagler was the first champion, the first fighter in boxing history to not be ceremoniously awarded his belt in the ring. You heard that right. Yeah, he was the first boxer in history where the ceremony must be complete, where that you beat the champion, they award you your belt. And you're in the ring and you got to take a picture in the ring with the belt on. So you have proof of the night that you won the belt. Well, in that night in the UK fans were drunk, belligerent. A mob crowd had started over the Marvelous One coming in there. You know what time it was back then, skin color time, right? And they was on that time. And they started like booing and throwing bottles and like all kinds of like trash, everything. They were just seats, everything. It was so bad that security had to cover Marvelous Hagler and escort him out the ring. But Marvelous wasn't trying to hear it. He was like, nah, I want my belt, right? I don't care, bro. He was, give me my belt. But he was reaching, he started like reaching for the belt, Marvelous Hagler. But I think he still had his boxing gloves on. They wouldn't give him the belt. The dude went like that. He wouldn't give him the belt. And like they was like boom, boom, boom. They escorted him out, Marvelous Hagler. I think if I'm not sure where his next fight was. I don't know. Something in my head is saying New York. I don't know why. Maybe because there was a lot of New York fights I've been thinking about, but I could be wrong on that, right? But his next fight, he was awarded the ceremony, and he put on the green belt, and he raised his hands, and he was awarded that. But sometimes things happen to you in life that you might think was a fucked up situation, right? And you might be like, that's unfortunate, right? Perhaps, perhaps later on Marvelous Hagler's career, when he ended his career, the UK extended their hand out to him. They invited him back, and they publicly came out and said, "Don't allow those fans speak for us. Those were just drunken, belligerent fans, and we apologize, Marvelous Hagler, and we are so embarrassed." And they wrote that man out red carpet treatment for like the rest of his life. He was like an action movie star out there. Yeah, they had him in all kinds of stuff. Yo, you guys can check that out. Marvelous Hagler lived out the rest of his days. I believe he passed away at the young age of 66 years old. And he was just an amazing man, man. My man used to go to war. He had that like war thing right here, and he would lock himself up in them hills up there in Boston and Massachusetts, Brockton, Mass. He would like lock himself in out there and just go into Rocky mode. He was real about it. He was a real fighter, bro. Not like these, excuse me, not like these dudes we have today. Not like the guys we have today. Today's guys are not like built like that. They're not. There are very few men that are doing that. Terrence Crawford's one of them. Naoya Inoue's one of them. Usyk seems to be doing his job for as weak as the heavyweight division is currently. It needs a lot of help. They're like fighting each other repeatedly because there's no one there. He's already fought two guys repeatedly. There's just no heavyweights around. That kid Moses is moving along pretty good though. I like him. So like, when it comes to a lot of these guys' style today, they're not like the old guys. They're really not. And I don't like to be like that guy, like coming up, always hearing my old heads say, the sport's not like it used to be. I used to laugh at them dudes. I used to be like, right, like the guys in the NBA, to back then when Michael Jordan, these guys today are saying those guys can't compete with them. And we find that hilarious. So I never really wanted to be that guy. I always wanted to evolve with my sport, change with my sport, and be able to see, because what brought me back to boxing and broadcasting boxing shit was the fact that, oh shit, let me scroll this down. What's up, guys, man? How you guys doing? What's up, Frequency? Like Arrow? Yo, what's up, Patrick? How you guys doing? Sorry, yeah, thank you, Patrick. I'm sorry I didn't scroll down and see your messages. I had them all scrolled up. Now I'm all caught up with you guys. So, yeah, like today's guys, man, they don't stand in front of you like that, man. You know, that's what we wish Shakur Stevenson would do, like stand in front of people like the Marvelous One did, and Tank and all these other guys and the TOs and shit. You know, for the most part, a lot of these guys really don't want to like engage in real wars or anything. You know, because also there's been, you know, there's a history. You know, when as you're coming up as fighters, you see things in locker rooms that a lot of you guys are not privileged to, right? And it's the effect of these punches in the long term in the sport. And when these young men and women are coming up, eventually they meet their legends and they talk to them. When they walk away, they realize the price some of our fighters have to pay. It's a brutal sport. It really is. If you never ever didn't notice this, between all the men that suffered massive effects of punches, and you could see brain trauma later on in their career, in their speech, their ability to keep conversations and things. And when you see that, if you have never noticed this, the men that are more likely to escape boxing without that are like the heavyweight champions of the world. And in rare cases, big cases, you saw like Muhammad Ali, and he had Parkinson's on top of it, and many people speculated that the boxing didn't help it or it advanced the stages. And I'm not a doctor, I can't tell you. But what I can tell you is this: I know boxing, and I know the human body, okay? And the reason why heavyweights are less likely to suffer that, you'll see it, Lennox Lewis talking. He has a little thing. There's a few, but they're, for the most part, heavyweight guys, they're fine. George Foreman was selling grills for how long? How long was George Foreman in commercials? Just until he got old, that's all. Father Time's undefeated. But for the most part, George, all of them spoke well, right? The reason why the other division is because we cut weight. We cut weight to enter matches. And by cutting weight, we're constantly taking out the fluids out of our organs in our body. The human brain, your head, is the first organ to release all its water. Then the liver, the kidney, and so forth, all your major organs, and you're shrinking yourself up to make this weight, right? So when you replenish and you take in electrolytes and you take in all this supplements, you notice that once the fighter makes weight, the trainer usually pass him a bottle. And that I have all his vitamins, everything that prepares you to eat. Because you're dry, you don't want to just start eating right away, you want some liquid. They start downing that, they start packing on the weight. Here's the problem. The human brain is the last organ to take water in. No one really knows how fast your body recovers in a 36-hour window. Because you got 36 hours to fight, right? You weigh in at 9 o'clock in the morning. Usually the fight's around 10 o'clock at night. You got all that time. Adds up to about 36, 37 hours. So what happens is, in that time, maybe I replenish better or faster than you. It's up to how your body type is. So if you're not fully replenished, just like Chris Eubank Jr. did with Conor Benn, that was dangerous what he did. Yo, that man had to be rushed to the hospital. Chris Eubank Jr. was in the hospital for a while after that. It took a couple days for him to get all that water back into his body. That man, I bet you he couldn't even piss because he didn't have no water to give. Yo, that is so fucking dangerous. He's gonna pay for that, bro. And yo, if Conor Benn would have got him a good liver shot, a good one, he'd have been pissing blood for a week. That was so dangerous of what Chris Eubank Jr. did. Oh my God. So, and all those punches he took from Conor Benn, he'll pay for that later in his life. Because I could guarantee you that brain up there was empty with water. I don't think he was fully replenished at all. You could see it in his character. You could see it. Chris Eubank Jr. was in trouble. He was truly fighting that fight on reserves, on like a fucking fumes on a gas tank. That's how the entire fight he fought like that. I mean, I'm not gonna question his warrior spirit, what they accomplished in their life as fighters, but like the event itself, they weight drained this guy and blimped up this guy, and we had ourselves a fucking fight. You know what I mean? That's how it went. So yeah. What's up? Salutations, baby. Yeah, thank you, Patrick. Yo, if I mess up your name, bro, you guys know my eyes are bad. I can't even see numbers anymore. Yo, it's ridiculous. I can't even see the numbers. My brother asked me how many people. Let's get these likes up, guys. Hit the like button for me. Don't cost you a thing. It's free. Hit the interaction. Let me get a 100 or a fire. Don't forget to hit that like for me, guys. I can't even see the amount of people that are in my live stream, the numbers itself. I talked to my wife this morning. Oh, here comes the nurse. That's for my grandfather. Um, I talked to my wife this morning. I told her I got to get these glasses. I got to. I have to. This is getting ridiculous. What's up? Can't believe Eubank wants to do that again. Money's a motherfucker, ain't it? Money is a motivator. You know what I'm saying? And money will get you to do things or quickly forget the pain or what it took you to get there. You know what I'm saying? The victory too, on top of everything, and him walking outside after the victory, the way his countrymen embraced him. All of that will get you to forget that you almost put your line on the line that night. Any one of those shots that were coming from Conor Ben, every punch Conor Ben threw, he threw with bad intentions. He wasn't trying to be Chris Eubank's friend in that ring. And he was tagging Chris Eubank with a lot of big shots. What money can do, and bring you back up. But listen, this hurts both fighters on both ends. Because if you don't think that this doesn't also affect Conor Ben's career, it does. Because the more Conor Ben, the more time goes by that he stays up there in that weight, he's not going to be able to come back down to 147. And 147 is where the money fights are. That's where newly entering Ryan Garcia into the division, Devin Haney supposed to be getting into the division. Tio is rumored that Jerron Boots Ennis denied a fight with him, and that Tio's upset and blah blah blah, and that Turkey Al Sheikh fired Tio, right? Because Tio called him a dictator, right? So like now Tio got the boot, so that he's not in the bag. He's gonna have to go out there and kiss the ring and the Saudi, bend the knee, brother. Ha ha ha. So and then Tio went with Floyd, and he's training with Floyd Mayweather in his little camp. So just to that's like a power move from Teofimo Lopez, trying to tell the boxing world, I'm not on the outskirts. I still got people that'll fuck with me. And Floyd Mayweather, whether anybody might say, yo, Floyd, Tio said this about the brothers, this, that, and the third. Floyd Mayweather is not a politician. Floyd Mayweather is not the movement. He's not the movement, brother. Floyd Mayweather is a businessman. It's in his name, money. He's not in here to make friends. He probably don't even like Tio or whatever. Maybe he does. But he sees Tio's potential, market value. And he knows Tio's a good fighter. Little bit of tweaks here and there. Shit. Maybe Tio does beat Jerron. Right? Mayweather does shit about money. Sometimes you gotta fuck with suckers to get ahead in life. These YouTube streets are teaching me that. Sometimes my mentality is like jail principle. I don't fuck with you because you a snitch. I don't fuck with you because you done did this or whatever, right? But I'm not in a gang. And I'm not in jail. And Floyd thinks like that. Floyd's like, I know what Tio said. I know what he did. But I'm not here to fucking right the wrongs of fucking everybody. I'm a businessman. You know what I'm saying? So I see what Floyd could be doing potentially. And you heard the dude when Tio made that little interview today, and he was like, Tio was like, I'm here at the Mayweather gym getting to working. Whoever was that speaking in the background, they was letting them know, they was hearing them. They was stay focused. Stay focused, Tio. Right? Because to tell you guys the truth about Teofimo Lopez, right? Here's the truth, right? Tio done said some shit. He even said shit about my people, the Puerto Ricans, right? You see him up there. You see the flag. You see it, right? He even said something about our people. And he had a lot to say, right? So, so he's not gonna get any sympathy out of me. You know what I'm saying? Teofimo Lopez ain't getting no sympathy from me. But facts are facts. And what Tio is, respectfully, hear me out. Hear me out. Sometimes I'll say some shit, but I'll give you the other side. That's how I am. I'll give you one side, I'm gonna give you the other. If you don't know me already, right? Okay. He ain't getting no sympathy from me in the sense that he's an idiot for what comes out of his mouth. He just doesn't know how to address situations. When he said this about brothers and this and that, what in fact Tio was doing was he was sending a message out to a small group of people that were rocking him months before that. You got to go back to where this all started. Remember, when Tio made that video that he was in the back of the trash can, that he was going down and he was saying that he quit boxing right after he beat Josh Taylor, right? And he posted like he was homeless and shit. The brothers roasted him on that. The brothers took Tio's wife when he was going through that divorce, Tio's son. Yo, they was calling all kinds of Tio shit. They was saying this dude was banging Tio's girl. They was rocking Tio. Tio fell into obscurity, went into the hole, and tried to pretend like he vacated the WBO title so that in court, when she took the money, he said, I don't no longer box anymore. Because they were gonna try to like hold him to that. So whatever it was, I remember they was rocking Tio, and it was the brothers that was doing it. So when Tio finally felt that he got a small piece of victory and got on top with these kind of little Josh Klagic wins, he lost his fucking mind and started saying some shit. But what he forgot to do was direct it to individuals. And everybody took it as a whole. And they were like, Tio lost your mind. You're talking about all of us. And it wasn't that he was talking about all of the brothers or like that. He was talking about a small group of individuals that was fucking with him. And I remember all the racist comments they made about Tio. You know, they might say that it wasn't racist because, the Tio is Latin, but apparently he can't say the N-word, so he ain't that Latin, not like Puerto Ricans can. No, he's not Puerto Rican, right? So, they was like, his wife didn't want Tio go something about build a roof. They called him like a landscaper and shit. Those are all racist comments. They called him, you should see the comments. I can't remember, that was years ago. It was just a fucking, they was roasting Tio. Matter of fact, there's a dude out there that made a video on the Tio comments. And they had like a little party with it. I forgot the dude's name. Yes, he's out there. He made a video about that. About how they was roasting Teal. So, but Teal's dumb ass, right? He don't know how to focus stuff. And specifically say, yo, this was to y'all. So now he got the world thinking he's like this big racist. And Teal done grew up in gyms with brothers and everything. I'm not going to say that he wasn't a hidden racist the whole time, because I don't think it's like that on the line for Teal, but he's still a fucking punk, right? For a lot of the dumb stuff that he did. And people are going to pay to watch him get his mouth busted open. Or Teal can flip it on all these dudes and whoop these dudes' asses. He's got skills. Teal's got skills, man. He just need a good coach to stick with him. You know, it seems like he's bouncing around here and there. You know, and that could fuck you up because, you know, you try to like go around everywhere and learn everything, and at the end you learn nothing. You learn nothing because you're not practicing, developing your style. You're picking up pieces as you go, thinking that you're gonna add it to you're just not fluent in it. It's not gonna work like that. As soon as you get punched in the face, you're gonna divert right back to the old fighter you once was, because you don't got steady training with the same coach. You can't bounce around like this. It's not going to work for you. You might think like, oh, I'll go to this guy. He'll teach me some things. I'll learn from him. And then I'll be a master. If boxing don't work like that. Boxing is repetition. Repetition over and over and over. And where you could throw that punch in your sleep. You know, you can't keep going to different, you got to stay with one person. And then if there ever comes a time where you outgrew that person's coaching, and you know you need other looks, right? Tank Davis did that himself. And his last fight with Lamont Roach, he didn't fight with Calvin Ford, and a lot of people took that like there's a split between them. But that's not true. Tank Davis has done this in the past before. I think the fight with Mario Barrio, was it Mario Barrio? Or was it Isa People Cruz? He went with another coach in those one of those fights too. Tank does this. He gets different looks. That way Tank can learn different styles of fighting. You don't just stay stagnant with one way of training. That's kind of what I felt with young Xander Zion. I didn't want him to like get rid of his coach or anything, but I wanted his coach to get young Xander Zion a different set of eyes. That's all. Just teach different tactics in different situations. And his coach can look on to as well, go through a camp with that other coach, develop your fighter in those ways, and then continue to develop your fighter. Now you see as a coach what he's teaching them. You're more familiar with it as well, and you guys keep getting better and evolving as a team like that. So it's good to get your fighter different looks, you know, things like that. What's up, guys? What's up, Josh? This guy's crazy. What is he doing? What'd you say, Patrick? That Roger, but he's already working that coach grounding up. I'm talking about Tank. The reason why Tank Davis went with another coach than Calvin Ford, they were trying to change Tank Davis. In the process, Tank Davis was going out, having a lot of outside interference in that training camp. The guy taught him some things, but it didn't stick with Tank Davis. It didn't stick because every time he was learning and he was training in the gym, his mind wasn't in the gym. He was doing everything the coach said, he just wasn't recording it. Tank Davis as a fighter. I've seen that a lot of times. And then Tank Davis would go into back into the world and have a lot of distractions. The reason for the change of coach was this. When Lamont Roach was preparing, helping out Tank Davis in previous fights that he sparred Tank Davis, he sparred him under the tutelage of Calvin Ford. So Lamont Roach knew Tank Davis's mannerisms. He knew how he moved. That's why Lamont Roach looked that good against Tank Davis. No one else is going to look like that against Tank. Lamont Roach knew subtle things about Tank Davis because of sparring with him for an extensive period of time. And that's why Lamont Roach looked that great. So Team Tank Davis, what they thought was, okay, Lamont Roach is familiar with the Calvin Ford Tank Davis. They try to get him another coach, switch Tank up, it would throw Lamont Roach off, right? This motherfucker, Tank Davis, goes out, switches coaches, and learns absolutely nothing. He didn't look no different than the regular Tank. In fact, he looked worse. Tank Davis had so much shit going on in the outside that he was going to train. He was just going through the motions in training camp. He would show up. He was in shape. He was just going through the drills. He learned nothing. As soon as Lamont Roach started going up in the fight, Tank was a little lost. He kept just doing the same shit he was doing. And as far as that, I just got my hair done 2 days ago shit, right? That's never happened to Tank Davis before in his career. That a situation like that happened. And let me elaborate to the world. I've said it on other podcasts before, but just in case you've never heard the truth about what happened in that situation with Tank Davis and Lamont Roach, a lot of these boxing channels don't know what happened because most of these guys don't spend their time in the gym. They would never know the answer to that question would just happen in front of them because they're not gym rats like myself. I go to boxing gyms. I stay in gyms, bro. And I've seen a lot of fights and sparring matches, and I've been in a lot of sparring situations. You guys want to know exactly what happened in that Tank Davis fight with that fucking chemical in his eye? Let me tell you exactly what happened. And Tank Davis is a boxer, and he has no idea this happened. Check it out. In the fight, Tank Davis goes 2 days later, 3 days prior. Let's go 2 days prior to the fight. Tank Davis gets his hair done. Bing! He leaves, right? 2 days, the fight comes. He enters the ring with Lamont Roach. Let me tell you right now, there's no chemical in the world that will last that long without being dried. The chemical will no longer exist. And if you're thinking about this next scenario, which would be he would sweat, activating the chemical once again. The problem is most chemicals are like alcohol based, things like that. So in 2 days, it would disintegrate. There would be not enough chemical to even spark back up with water. Right? It would have to be like an extensive ball. You would have to douse him, and most of that would fall off. So it wasn't the hair braid chemicals that did that. Stay with me. Check it out. In the heat of battle with Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach, as the round started going on, Tank Davis was punching Lamont Roach in the face. What do they do in between rounds? They take Vaseline and they put it on the fighter's face like that. Tank Davis himself punched Lamont Roach, and Vaseline is on his boxing glove now. Every time Lamont Roach pressured him, Tank Davis put his hands like this. Where are his hands? They're on his braids. In fact, on the rubber band knots, grease, Vaseline accumulates on the knot. Okay? While he was like this, all Vaseline was piling on the knot. In a sequence, when he was punching with Lamont Roach, Tank Davis, to evade, snapped his head like this, and his hair braid snapped into his eye. What went in his eye wasn't the chemicals from the braid, it was the Vaseline from the knot, which caused his eye to become impaired, right? Like blurry vision. What is the one thing in the sport of boxing that can go in your eye and with one wipe of a towel, you'll no longer be affected? Vaseline. That's why we use it. That's why it's been around forever. Because it's not going to irritate your eye like that, even if you get Vaseline in the eye. One wipe, you're good. Had it been chemicals from the hair dye, I mean the hair, like the grease that they use to braid his hair, had it been chemicals, any chemical that's ever gotten into the human eye would cause irritation, meaning his eye would flare up and it would at least have to get red because of the chemicals inside that solution. The minute he wiped, Calvin Ford wiped his eye, and Tank no longer, even when he went back to the corner, they never wiped his eye again. They wiped the top of his forehead. They never, because he said, my eye's fine. Why? Because that was Vaseline that went on that knot, and that was Vaseline that popped in your eye. And it was your ego and arrogance that truly thought Tank Davis was bigger than boxing, and he himself took a knee, went to the corner, wiped his eye, and he thought in his head, there's no foul here committed. Like he completely avoided all rules in boxing. Tank Davis thinks he's like this, and he really thought he got away with it. In fact, what he thought he was, shit, he is. He is. He thought, I can take a knee, wipe my face, and ain't nothing gonna happen. What happened? Nothing. Was he right? The referee was counting. 1, 2. Tank told him, nah, stop counting. That was no knee. I said, huh? Oh, well, then I guess it was no knee. Yo, Tank Davis waved his glove and straight up Jedi mind tricked the referee. The referee was like, maybe you didn't take an 8 count. Why am I counting for? Are you good, Tank? You're still in the fight. Bro, straight up Jedi mind tricked the ref right there. So, can I say like Tank didn't think he was that big in the moment? Yeah, he did. He got away with it. But now Lamar Roach and Tank is shooting back this rematch here. I find it interesting that a lot of people they're like changing their pick. The once people that had Tank Davis, now some of them have Lamont Roach because of his performance. You see Lamont Roach at a hockey game drinking one beer, and all of a sudden he's a bum. Hey, what do you think these guys do on their everyday life? You think these guys just eat shit boxing? None of these guys ever have a Corona, a Cerveza, a Mordel. I don't drink all the time, but when I do, Dos Equis, baby. Yeah, yo, I don't drink none of that shit. I personally, I don't drink beer. I can't, bro. Yo, them dudes that be drinking beer with they meal, you be seeing them, they be eating rice and beans and chugging a beer. I be like, I can't do that shit, bro. I'm not that Puerto Rican, bro. But I fucks with the tequila, the 1800. That's my drink. I drinks that. I drink that shit like. But beer, fuck that shit, bro. I think that shit tastes like piss. I hate beer, bro. I can't do beer. Sometimes I will, out of respect. I've been in places people hand me a beer or bought me a beer. I've drank them. Yeah, I've drank them and shit, but I ain't never went to no package store and say, yeah, let me get a 6-pack of anything. I ain't never bought a 6-pack and 30-pack or no pack in my life. Never. I think I bought a 40 ounce when I was younger. I bought 40 ounces of private stock. That's when the gang used to drink private stock, and we would take the cap off and we'd be twisted trying to figure out the code and shit. I think that's a cow symbol. Yeah. 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 When I was young, I drink some beer. I drank a little bit of beer though. A little bit. I think I did it more just to fit in. I always knew I hated it. I was just forcing it down. But when I got older, I was like, I'm buying that shit. Yo, I like this Junto Nakatoni shit that's popping off right now. Junto's challenging Espinoza, man. Holy shit balls. What if he does this shit? See, Junto sees that a lot of people are not going to fight him at 118. They scared to death of Junto down there. He's causing big waves, you know what I mean? And he's a 3 division world champion. That Japanese dude, Junto Nakatoni, bro, he's a fucking menace. He's like, what is he? He's 30-23. He got 30 wins, 23 big waves by knockout. They got him in box rec. He's at 5'8", which I thought he was taller, right? But fine. Yo, the fact that he's willing that they even issued out that statement, and you know it's true, right? Because, these fuckers at Top Rank Magazine, they published the story quick. They're the ones the Ringside Magazine is the ones that got ahead of everybody, and they got the story. I think they were the first people to break it. So they're like, this is like with Rudy and them, they're like all in on this shit. So maybe he might jump up. Now, it's no secret that the next fights that Naoya Inoue is trying to fight, right, is that NJ Akmadalia dude. And then Nick Ball is like a serious fucking name on his thing. Nick Ball, no matter what circle I talk in, even in the Japan circles, which I don't understand much, right? They try to do that translation thing, right? And I'm convinced it's just like speaking Spanish, Puerto Rican. When we say things, when we hear it in English, it makes perfect sense. But when we translate it in Spanish, typically it's backwards. It's backwards. All the words are backwards from what you said in English. But the way, even when we say it or hear it in Spanish, it means what you're saying in English. We don't have to the human brain is amazing. It breaks shit down and I don't know why it doesn't sound right translated in Spanish the way you're saying it. Yeah, if by the words that we have, I don't know how that fucking works that way, but it does. So I'm convinced that that's what's going on in the Japanese translations a lot of times, because I be reading shit trying to break it down and be like, yeah, Naoya Inoue's gonna fight a chicken across the road. Like, what the fuck was that? And I know it's not but even in the small circles that I do connect with out in those Japan channels to try to figure out more about Naoya Inoue, and if this jump to 126 is a reality, or him being dropped twice, is that gonna stop the Japanese superstar from going up to 126? Would that discourage him? You know what I mean? What's up, Patrick? Let me get up and read some of these messages. Reach was with it. I don't know about that. If Rocha was going to win that fight, my man, I can't honestly say that completely. I mean, Angel's Nightmare, Maze, mate, what? Oh, your letters are really bunched up. It's really fucking with my eyesight, but I hear what you're saying. Man, but that Nick Ball dude is supposedly still being on track for after MJ. So if if everything stands to be corrected, if everything stays on course, then he is going to jump up to 126 after MJ. You know what I mean? The way he was talking after that Roman Cardenas fight, he wasn't talking like he was gonna move up to 126 in the near future at all. Then the next reports I started hearing out of Naoya Inoue's camp there was talking about preparing for retirement. And then I'm like, fuck, are we already there with this dude, bro? Right? And then he challenged Junto, right, at that award ceremony, right? And he said, "Yo, Junto, I want to fight you somewhere 2026. So, would you accept a fight with me with Junto?" So he stepped to him at the award ceremony. That's what kind of dog Naoya Inoue is. He's like, by the way, we getting awards. Hey, yo, listen, homeboy, I want to fight you. I'm gonna take this time to bow. And he did that. No, that was unexpected. No one knew that Naoya Inoue was ever gonna do that on a Japanese stage where they're so humble. Traditionally, they're passing each other bouquets of flower, bowing, showing the utmost respect, and always greeting another person with a smile, not showing any animosity or anything. And during that time, Naoya Inoue took the opportunity to say, "Yo, I want to fight you." That's not typically, it's not done like that in Japan. So that's why it got a lot of, ooh, like a big reaction out of the crowd and shit. And Naoya Inoue was asked later about that. They were like, "Yo, Naoya, bro, like, did you know, like, or they asked Junto too, like, did you know he was supposed to do that?" And he, nah, nah, nah. And then they said, "Naoya Inoue, why'd you do that?" He said, "Do you guys want to see the fight?" Everybody at the same time was like, "Yup." He was like, "That's why. That's why I did it." And so I already knew that that fight in the future was going to be great. And when you talk about a fighter like Naoya Inoue and how special he is, typically fighters at the tail end of their career, their competition seems to be going down. Or they don't fight the next young superstar. You know what I'm saying? They don't fight the next young superstar. What they end up doing is fighting these lackluster fights on their way out, and they ride off into the sunset. This Japanese dude, Naoya Inoue, his competition's getting better as he's leaving. You got to admit, jumping up to 126 would not be another challenge for him? Would that be easy? That means everybody up there, all the competition goes where? Up. When he fights Junto Nakatoni, they think what? He's his equal. He's the next young, hot, super Japan star that's going to beat the old dog, right? What is that? That's your competition going up. Junto's one of the biggest threats to this guy. That's not competition going down. He would be defending all four belts 5 times against MJ, right? Is that 5 times? Let's count it. Hold on. Let's not guess. Let's not guess. Because I want to be sarcastic sometimes in my report, and people take it out of content, right? Ness did, he tried me too on the show, like, Uzyk's, Tyson Fury's 36. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm just being sarcastic. Like, I should have said he was 99 years old, you know what I'm saying? That's what I should have said. But I was like, 39, 40, he's a little younger than that, but beating a guy twice, another guy twice, like, it doesn't make you the greatest fighter in the world, bro. Slow your roll, man. He's got to do some shit. I hate that bullshit narrative that he beat the guy that beat the guy that beat the guy, and I beat him, so that means I'm the best. No, you just beat him. Now go beat everybody he beat. It doesn't mean that your style fares with them. You know what I mean? I mean, if that was the case, then why didn't Usyk knock out Anthony Joshua? He didn't fight him once, but he fought him twice. And he couldn't knock out Anthony Joshua. And Dubois got in the ring with him, and Dubois lost to Usyk. And Dubois goes and brutally knocks out AJ. You see how styles make fights? It doesn't mean just because he beat Tyson Fury, all of a sudden Usyk's the greatest heavyweight that ever lived. I hate when they do that. I fucking can't stand that shit. They got him in conversations. It's like the greatest heavyweight run in history. I was like, are you guys buying that ESPN bullshit? That turkey shit? That I want to sell my fighter shit? Just back up for a second and you'll see the real picture. Who did Usyk beat again? What were the fighters that he beat? Explain to me his mysterious grand title run. Here, let's break down Usyk's real title run. And I don't ever mean to disrespect the heavyweight champion of the world, but sometimes you just got to put things in his perspective. You got to tell the truth, bro. Okay? Okay, let's start. You beat AJ twice. AJ who? Oh, you mean AJ that got beat up by that little short, fat Mexican, Ruiz, that was already knocked out and defeated? You beat that guy. Okay, you didn't beat him once, but twice. And how'd you do? He went the distance with you twice. No spectacular knockout? No? What's your next big claim to fame? That you beat Tyson Fury? Not once, but twice? Oh, you mean Tyson Fury. The one that inactive fighter. The one that went against Francis Ngannou on his debut and almost lost. You fought that Tyson Fury? Because it looks like that guy showed up twice. Where is your legendary run? Oh, and by the way, the heavyweight division for the last 25 years has been hurting. There are no heavyweight champions and a consistent amount of them that had like an era where Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, Razor Ruddock, all those dudes fought in that era. That was an amazing heavyweight era. The heavyweight division has, the champions have been fighters like Deontay Wilder. That should tell you everything. That a man with one move, one right hand, these guys are not smart enough to nullify one hand? Really, how long was Deontay Wilder champion for? And I don't mean to crack on him or anything, but it speaks to how strong is the heavyweight division. How many great heavyweight champions were they in the last 20 years? Who were they? What did they do and who did they fight? I'm going to tell you right now, that list is going to be that small. It's no secret. The heavyweight division has been hurting so long that the Saudi Prince and Suleiman, freaking the WBC, they're holding tournaments to try to find heavyweight guys. Why? Because in America, our heavyweight champions, you know what they turn out being? NFL stars, baseball players, basketball. There's, in America, for big size guys, there's too many other options without getting your face punched in. You don't got to be that tough. So a lot of our big kids, they go into other sports. Had it not been for the NFL or baseball or basketball, you know how many heavyweight champions America would have right now? How many athletic big guys we would have? If boxing was the only game in town? But we have too many options for guys that big. And then guys, when they tweak their knee or pop a shoulder and can't play in that sport, they go, boxing. And they try to turn around and go to boxing, I started training at 25. Like, man, listen. And that's what happens. And that's why we don't got a lot of, like, great champions. And the majority of the heavyweight champions are going to always be fucking UK. Shit like that. Russian and fucking... Because there's no NFL out there. The NFL is only played. Football is only played on one place on the planet, and that's in America. There's no NFL team nowhere else in the world. It's an American-made sport, and their football is soccer. Yeah, so they got more chances of their big men going into boxing than we do. Yeah, and all the greatest sports, like the baseball, the basketball, are all played in America. You're not gonna make that kind of money anywhere else in the world. That's why the UK guys are always gonna be on top when it comes, and we're gonna have like eras like the Klitschko eras and shit, and that guy is gonna be like reigning supreme and shit, and then Tyson Fury took over his era, and the Klitschko era, if you ask me, wasn't that great either. It really wasn't. Yo, you put Klitschko in with like a prime Lennox Lewis would destroy him. You put Klitschko in a prime Klitschko in with like shit Razor Ruddock and them dudes, like the lower guys, like Ike Iabuchi, like Tua. Put him in there with Tua, a prime Tua, Ike Iabuchi. Those guys were fucking animals, bro. They would have rocked that dude, bro. And like they, man, listen, man. The heavyweights of my time, they were real heavyweights, bro. They had skill, man. Go watch that. As a matter of fact, go watch that Ayabuchi and fucking Tua fight, bro. Go watch that fight, man. Those were real heavyweights. And tell me, as soon as you watch that fight, what heavyweight fight in the last 20 years looked like that? Heavyweight division is soft as fuck, boy. That fucking run that and it goes to show you, right? When you go back to look at Uzyk's run on that fucking cruiserweight, was that special? Was the list of owls on that on his list? It was like who? I don't know none of them dudes, bro. Not one of them, bro. I don't know none of them. I'm like, who? Like, it's ridiculous, bro. And we ain't had no fucking big champions in the U.S. and fucking the twins, fucking Jamel Charlo. And then now Terrence Crawford came up and got that belt right there, 154. What's the highest champion the U.S. has? 154 right now? Who's the highest champion for the U.S.? From the heavyweight division, there's no U.S. flags. Cruiserweight, there's no U.S. flags. 175 pounds, no U.S. flags. 168, Saul Canelo Alvarez division. The IBO is a Cuban, doesn't count, not close enough. No U.S. flags. For Laura's division, no U.S. flags. 154. Virgil Ortiz represents America. Oh yeah, Virgil wasn't born in Mexico. Bro, he looks like a hardcore Mexican, don't he? He speaks fluent English. Virgil? Yeah, he was probably raised out here. He's a Americano Mexico. Right? Well, I'll take him. We'll take Virgil. USA. So Virgil Ortiz has the interim WBC world title, and Sebastian Fundora and Terrence Crawford all represent the 154-pound weight division. That is the highest belt America has right now. It's 154. That's our biggest champion. We're not nowhere near any of those, and that's why. Because our guys got a lot of more options to fucking fuck with in sports. All right, what's up, Mountain Man? What's going on? Damn out, man. I wish I could read what the fuck you saying, man. He can easily get outboxed because of how many times Rikishi touches his jaw. Now it was just Eduardo fought a great fight against him. Yo, Rikishi looked a little gun shy. Rikishi looked like he wanted to see his punches land. He was watching Eduardo Nunez at times too much. He just kept circling and going backwards, Rikishi. And it could be an exhausting fighting like that all night. Eduardo Nunez just kept that pressure in his face and just pushing him back like that. So I really thought that, like Rikishi, he needed to open up more and believe in his training. He had to put his combinations together more and more frequent. And the reason why I believe Rikishi wasn't doing that in this scenario was because of Eduardo Nunez's punching power. I think he caught him early in the fight, somewhere in the fight. I gotta go back and watch it again. I only saw it once. But the way Rikishi came out in the first round versus the second round, I was like, bro, we're only in the second round. You can't be taking a round off. You know how when you see like a fighter like in the fifth, sixth, eighth, ninth round, he's not throwing a lot of punches. He's taking a round off to try to charge up a little. He's not doing a lot. When Rikishi took the second round off, where he wasn't throwing no punches back, basically, that's when I knew somewhere in that first round, Eduardo hit him with something that got his attention. He wasn't just, he felt his power. I got to go back and watch it. Because listen, I couldn't understand why Rikishi became so hesitant with his combination letting his hands go. There's only really one explanation for that. Eduardo Nunez fucking pop, put it on him, baby. And congratulations to the new. You know what I mean? IBF, it was a vacant title. Yeah, it was a vacant title, but he won it. He actually fought a guy for the vacant title, meaning both men had opportunities at it, which is a regular boxing match. So it's fair. It wasn't that he got upgraded or anything like that. Handle that shit, frontline. Yup. So, you know what I mean? So, in that sense, right there, in that sense, you are a world champion because you actually fought somebody. They didn't send you a fucking email saying, yeah, we elevated you up to this status. You know what I'm saying? So, oh, fucking trolls today, huh? What did I press? Did I just press this guy back in again? I be pressing shit. Now all of a sudden I can see his freaking thing. Front line. Yo, so that in a sense, what's up? I never need. I never need to boxing. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Explain. I have. Maybe I wasn't reading your messages. Maybe you covered something up there, but I'm all the way back down. All I need is a tank. All Tank needs to do is fight some of these guys. And if you were ever in a tank, right, and you were claiming that you wouldn't need to fight because you would get in a tank. See, here's the problem with your analogy. At some point, that tank's going to run out of gas. And if we can wait you out, eventually you would have to get out of that tank. That's your ass. So I suggest you learn how to box. Because boxing will last much longer than that tank. You're only as good as your last bullet, your last shot. Once that's over with, It's just a matter of time before we cut that tank open like a tuna can, and we see your ass sitting inside. Don't get the joke? Yeah, nah, I'm saying Tank Davis, he ain't fighting nobody, and I'll give you a good description of why. Because they going to peel that tank open. Hey, little guy, how you doing, buddy? Tank ain't fighting nobody, man. I was a die-hard Tank fan, bro. I love Tank Davis. I fucks with him, man, hard, right? And then, like, in the last year, 2 years, I snapped. I fucking snapped. One day, Tank Davis was on an interview, right? And my man was, like, talking about retirement. I snapped right there. I was like, you motherfucker, what you mean retirement? You know how much money I done spent on Tank Davis's pay-per-views? I'm not going to say I bought every one of them, but I did buy a large amount of Tank Davis's fights because I don't want to go through that buffering shit or nothing. I'll just pay the money. I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to watch it, right? All the support, everything, all the shit I talked on videos for Tank Davis. I'm like, yo, my man's highly skilled. When he did that shit against Mario Barrio, that they had him blimped up, his face was like this fucking big. He was fat as hell. And the way Tank fought on that night was fucking impressive. He didn't miss a beat. He didn't skip. Yo, he was still as fast, that fat. I was like, wow, that means that he's really God gifted. He's got good athletic talent, Tank. So I've seen him do some shit, and I know he can box because when I saw him fighting against Gamboa, he was boxing Gamboa, and I seen Tank box before. Then I seen Tank change, evolve over time, and become this pressure fighter. But and then there was one thing that was evident. It was like a smack in the face, right? You ain't fought nobody. And after every fight was excuse after unfortunate after circumstances. Why he never fought Devin, Loma, Tio. He never fought these guys. It was just one thing after another. Then I stepped back one day and I started thinking about the shit and I started fucking recognizing that the biggest win on Tank Davis's resume is fucking Pedraza. When I like looked back, I was like, what the fuck? And then the two regular belts, like the one he fought Mario Barrio for, Mario Barrio wasn't the champion up there that when he had that regular belt. Wasn't Josh Taylor the champion? He had all four belts. So how can Mario Barrio be the real champion? So if you're not the real champion, then that belt that Tank Davis got off him is not real. It's not considered a real world championship. In fact, they announced Tank Davis to this day in the ring when he fought Frank the Ghost Martin as a two-division world champion. He mysteriously lost the division. Remember when they were announcing him three-division world champion against Isa Pitbull Cruz? Now he's a two-division. How'd you lose a division? See, because boxing, they'll only lie for a certain amount of time. And if you're able to achieve that, they don't need to lie for you no more, right? Okay, because Tank's legit a two-division world champion. He won a belts at 130, and he got fully upgraded and fought Frank the Ghost Martin. He solidified that. So he's a legit two-division world champion, Tank Davis. So with two divisions, two belts or whatever, what have you, because, you can count that other belt at 130, but it doesn't make it three belts. It does in a way, but it's just two divisions, makes shit less complicated. So when I realized that Tank Davis never fought anybody, I was just like, Tank, you were always the best fighter in the ring. That's like you knowing you walk into the room and you're the smartest person in the room. What fun is that? You don't got anybody to test your way of thought or give you new ideas. Pretty soon you're gonna become as dumb as them. So every time you entered the ring, Tank, were you really that much favored? Or are you really that good? But in order to be that good, you would need some scalps, some decent scalps. And like I said, if Pedraza's the biggest win, because Frank the Ghost Martin's never competed for a world title, he's never been a world champion, nothing. So Frank the Ghost Martin is who Isa Pitbull Cruz that went on later to become a world champion. But when you fought him, he wasn't a world champion. And that's when I got like sick of Tank shit. I got sick of it. I was just like, you know what? This is all smoke and mirrors. Tank's career is all smoke and mirrors. I got mad, bro, because my guys fought each other. There's videos with Marvelous Hagler fighting fucking Sugar Ray Leonard, Duran, Hagler, and the list goes on. Like, there's videos of all these guys fighting each other. Duran fought Sugar. Everybody fought each other, man. Hagler fought them. They all fought each other. Our four horsemen, how dare we even call those kids four horsemen? And they did that to try to like sell these guys to us, to try to claim that these kids today are just as good as what? Our era four horsemen? Well, tell me who the fuck is Ryan Garcia playing the part of the Hands of Stone Roberto Duran? Because that's a sad comparison. Who the fuck in today's standards playing Sugar Ray? Who's playing Marvelous Hagler? Who? Don't tell me Tank Davis is Marvelous Hagler. Don't even say that shit. Don't open your mouth and say no dumb shit like that. Who is Tank Davis in the part of the four horse list? I'm thinking about this right now. Oh, wait, is Tio supposed to play Roberto Duran? Then who the fuck is Ryan playing? Sugar Ray Leonard? Hitman Hearns? Don't even do it, bro. Don't even do it. Huh? These four horsemen of today are nothing like them horsemen, man. Are people getting... Yo, we are losing our mind, bro. They can legit tell us anything and we'll go for it. But you got Round One Sports Talk here. Wake up, people. Let's wake up. This ain't no four horsemen, man. Four cats. Meow. Four puppies. Let's give them a name. Four turtles. No. What are they? What are they today? Vicious koala bears. Four vicious koala bears. That's what they are. Yo! Yo! I'm sitting here thinking about it like, you know, the four horsemen of that era was Thomas Hitman Hearns, Marvelous Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard, and Roberto Duran. That was the four horsemen. And then you had the fifth horseman, which was, what's his name? Valuable candidate. Oh, yeah, we had the fifth horseman back then. Okay, we don't even got to get to him. You know why? Right? Right? Okay, look, we don't even have to get to him because who the hell are the four horsemen of today's era that they're saying is playing their part? Well, we got Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis, Devin Haney, and Teofimo Lopez. That was the four horsemen of today. So if we're comparing these horsemen to the old ones, who's playing whose part? What part is Devin Haney playing? Devin Haney's not Sugar Ray Leonard. Devin Haney's not Marvelous Hagler. Devin Haney's not Roberto Duran. And Devin Haney sure the fuck ain't Thomas the Hitman Hearn. Yo! Okay, if I had to like minimize it, I can't give Devin Haney Roberto Duran. I can't. Sugar Ray Leonard, man? Come on, Sugar Ray Leonard was a way better puncher. Okay, but Okay, for flashiness? Damn, that's gonna hurt to say that. Yo, I can't even get it out my mouth. Devin Haney's playing Sugar Ray Leonard. God damn. Okay, that's where he would go. Teofimo Lopez would go under Thomas Hitman Hearn. I would like put that. I know that he's no Thomas Hitman Hearn. I know that, right? Don't even say anything in the chat. I know it. I'm just trying to match these guys up, and this shit is hard, right? Because these four horsemen can't hold these guys' jock straps. If we're saying the truth, right? So in the category, uh, because Duran was a strong puncher all the way up, he took his power with him. He was still a strong puncher, bro. Tio didn't take his power, but like if we're not like really making that kind of comparison, we're minimizing this situation a little, and then I would put Tio there. But and then where does that leave Ryan Garcia? Ryan Garcia is no marvelous haggler. You gotta be out your motherfucking mind, right? So somehow I can't match these guys up. This four horseman era is fucking weak as hell, bro. These dudes is not fighting like my man's back in the day, bro. They're not standing in front. If Shakur Stevenson has all the skills in the world to evade and be a real strong puncher, I'm starting to worry about his hands. I think this is getting serious. I'm not sure what his hands are gonna look like against William Cepeda out there in New York City, July 12th. The day before that, Amanda Serrano and all the girls are gonna kick off their card out there as well. I'm really thinking about right now maybe going to this New York card. Um, I'm not sure yet. I want to go to a card, but maybe perhaps I might have to just check out this New York card. I might have to do that. There's just too much on the line for Puerto Rico that day, and I know it's gonna be the Puerto Ricans are really gonna come out and show out on that night. There's a lot of good fights on that card. The Subriel Matias fight, like I've been talking it up, and in reality, I'm nervous for Subriel Matias. I'm really nervous. I understand that Alberto Puello knows how to deal with pressure. He knows how to work around it. He knows how to use his feet. Although in the Sandor Martin fight, he decided not to use his feet in exchange with him, the Tomidamo, and he was standing with Sandor Martin. In that fight, I didn't really understand why he didn't use his feet a lot. But I guess at some point in the fight, he decided to just stand there and engage with Sandor Martin. So Puello is a really tough guy. And this is a really big fight, Subriel Matias. Uh, I gotta admit, this is gonna be his toughest fight. I'm really nervous. I seen Subriel Matias last night on the Filosófico. I'm sorry I messed up his name. My el español es muy bueno. You know what I mean? Nah, but yo me defiendo. I know more than like, yeah. I be trying to act like I don't speak it, but I'm right there and shit. But it's just like sometimes when I be away from my culture for a long time, my wife is Irish. She don't speak Spanish, bro. So we don't speak no Spanish in this house. So when I get outside, sometimes I'll sound funny for a little while. It'll just kick back in, like that. But I saw Subriel on the channel and everything, and I was like, like looking at his facial structures, his body. Boy, he looks good. He looks really good. In comparison to the Liam Barrow fight, he looks 100% better. Even coming off his last two fights, where he fought the cop, the Mexican cop, and everything, and stuff like that, and that other fighter, right? He looks better now than he even looked in those fights. In that fight, he looked a little fat, like his face was a little too pudgy. And a lot of people were like, oh, the IBF clause not on the line. Well, the IBF clause not on the line this time is the WBC, and look at the way he looks. I think he recognizes Subriel Matias. This is it. This is it. And maybe coming into those little fights and stuff, he really didn't believe he was going to get his phone call for a belt. And maybe he was laggy gagging a little. But when he got that phone call and everything became reality, you know what I'm saying? It's fight time. And I like his mindset, the way he was talking and everything. And Subriel Matias is a strong puncher. He's a strong puncher. The thing is, Alberto Puello is quick and he starts off pretty good, right? He cuts his footwork is what's troubling me. His footwork, because I'm not afraid of his punching power. I know that Alberto Puello can crack. He's retired fighters himself. That Dominican dude made dudes not come out at the answer of the bells if you're not familiar with him. He has no mas, his own share of fighters. Maybe not as much as Subriel has. Subriel no mas like five guys and three of them were undefeated, right? So, but Alberto Puello has also no mas a couple fighters. I remember there was like one or two of them. It was more than one. I know that for a fact because I watched the fights. I watched Alberto Puello fights. I just can't remember the names of the guys that he did it to. Um, I remember when Alberto Puello fought that other Dominican fighter. What was his name? Justin fucking Jonathan or something. Jonathan. He was the Dominican fighter, another young dude. That fight right there, I was like, everybody else, back up. This is Dominican on Dominican crime. Yeah, mind your business. Let him sort it out. You know what I mean? it was them against them. You know, I told my people, just grab your popcorn, let's go. You know what I mean? Let's watch a good fight. You know, and that's when like you want to separate yourself from your own countrymen to prove who's the top guy out of your country, representing your country, trying to bring these belts back to your country as a world champion. So, you know, as the fight gets closer, I gotta admit, Sobria's in for a tough one. He's he's in for a tough one, right? And if Sobriel can do what he always does, out tough the guy, then land his punches, I would like to see what Alberto looks like in the 10th round. If Alberto Lopez is still looking clean as fuck, boy, in the 10th round, that means he's been nullifying Sabria's game plan, and what we've been watching is Alberto Puello float around Sabria Matias, just tagging him all night. But if we go into the 10th round, if we make it to the 10th round, and I look across the ring and Alberto Puello's face is rocked, then yeah, screen broadcast live screen broadcast has stopped due to screen sharing stopped. Okay, all right. I didn't know that my fucking thing was activated because I would have been putting on the motion sensor so that the thing could follow me, but I didn't program it when I pressed the live. So now I just like this, but I can move it like that and it would have followed me. My sword, I put it on a timer so I don't waste my battery, so that it would turn off in exactly 8 minutes. Yeah, but what's up, guys? Oh yeah, he trained at Champions. Those were real boxers. Those were real boxers training at mountain height altitudes. like the climate. They understood how to open up their lungs and really get like that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of coaches and a lot of trainers have fought on like those altitudes and mountains and stuff, to really give their fighter how to like they train under the oxygen level is like real thin and shit. So by time you go down and whatever, you'll be that much more efficient with your energy and shit, and you'll feel like you could fight longer. You know, a lot of trainers and stuff did that. Supriya Matias complained about the hot sun out in Mexico and that it was really draining him. But I'm not sure if it was that was draining him. You know what I'm saying? He might have been indulging in some things, you know? So, you know, fighters are not going to tell you what they do outside of the sport, you know. So you never know. But I like how Subriel Matias right now looks. I like how his mindset, his eyes look clear, his characteristics really look like he's in a good place in his life right now. You know, and depending how Alberto Puello is training and taking this fight, you know, Alberto Puello, for the most part, he outlasted Sandor Martin. Although I don't think his performance against Sandor Martin was the best Alberto Puello I've ever seen. And Sandor Martin, had he been a better closer, he beats Alberto Puello. I think he would have beat him. I think Alberto Puello underestimated Sandor Martin. But he's not going to underestimate Subriel. And neither is Subriel going to underestimate him. I think we got ourselves a pretty good fight here. I'm prepared to see Subriel win or lose. Either way. I'm prepared to see both versions of this. You know, although I want my guy to win, I understand the task at hand. I understand that Subriel Matias is not just going to walk over Alberto Puello. And if that were to happen, boy, don't worry, you'll be like and you'll be in your house. Turn down the volume. Ah! Oh, that's crazy Spanish dude yelling about Subriel. You're gonna hear me on that side of the world. Don't worry, you'll know, right? And like if he like walks through him like that, I'll go crazy, right? Because I'm considering this to be a really tough fight for Subriel. You know, and I respect this Dominican fighter. You know, usually I'm gonna speak honest. Whenever I thought of a Dominican fighter fighting us, I was like, oh, that's a win, dub, throw it away. Like they weren't like the greatest of fighters traditionally. They weren't. They were always there. They just weren't really great fighters. Dominican dudes. Well, there's a new fucking dawn now, and a new era is upon us. And these dudes is something else right now. They got a good roster of fighters right now representing Santo Domingo right now in multiple weight divisions. You know what I'm saying? And some of these fighters take some of their Dominican compadres' losses personal, you know, because they rock with their Dominican brothers and they don't want to fight each other. You know, they got fighters coming up like La Bazooka, those two brothers, man. You got Palanco. What? No, what's his name? Oh my goodness, bro. He's my guy, bro. I like this guy. All the time I be messing up his name too sometimes. Fucking Rohan Polanco, right? And the Dominican guys got a lot of good boxers right now. They got a good roster. And also shouts out to Carlos Adames, you know, Bronco, and Alberto Puello as well. So the Dominican guys got some good fighters right now. And if any time in Dominican history boxing, I think what they would make a good run for titles is now, is right now. And I'm really rooting for them. I'm really rooting for Dominican fighters, man. Like Rohan Polanco, man. I fucks with that dude hard, bro. I like his style. I like his focus. I like his vision. You know, not for nothing, but Carlos Adames, bro. You should take a picture out of your brother's fucking work ethic. I think if you were better in shape, you would have beat fucking Hamza Shari there fucking better convincingly. Had you not been fucking around Carlos Adames, bro, you look like you were gassed in them later rounds, bro. If you had a little bit more gas tank, bro, you could have just beat this guy. He beat him in my eyes anyway. I don't think anybody feels like he shouldn't have been awarded the victory in that fight. I agree. But he could have stopped Hamza Shari where they didn't need the judges no more. Carlos Adames, bro. I think he needs to take a page out of fucking Rohan Polanco's training. And that I'm just saying that out of love, bro. Because there's too much of your countrymen looking up to you guys, Santo Domingo. And I'm speaking the truth, bro. These Dominican people want to support you guys. They really do. But every single time it seems like a Dominican fighter gets up to that big fight, you know what I'm saying? And the Dominican people, they won't show up for them unless it's baseball, fucking, you know what I mean? And I think that the Dominican fighters right now, I think they're gonna get their fair share at that Sabriel Matias fight. Hopefully, the Dominican people will come out there and support. If I'm at the fight, I'll rock both flags. I'm not Dominican, and I'm full blooded Puerto Rican. My mother's Puerto Rican, was my father's Puerto Rican. I'm a Puerto Rican, but Dominicans, they're our neighboring cousins. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't raised in my father's era where they were always killing each other. I was raised kind of in that era too as well, but I choose to ignore it. You know what I mean? Like, they ain't do nothing to me. You know what I mean? Like, we just people, you know? So I would hold the Puerto Rican flag and the Dominican flag at the same time, you know, showing both love to both. And in the competitive sport and competitive nature, yes, I'm taking my flag. I'm rocking with Subriel Matias in this fight. Win, lose, or draw. Even if I think Subriel's gonna lose, I got Subriel in the fight. If I think he's gonna win, I got Subriel in the fight. In a tie, I got Subriel in a tie. In a rumor, I got Subriel in a rumor. I'm just down with Subriel. That's it. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna turn my back on him. You know, I don't consider him the best Puerto Rican fighter we have right now. I don't even think he's the most popular Puerto Rican fighter we have right now. But I fucks with him. I fucks with him, and he's gonna be back on top. He's gonna be that champion again. And if it means that he has to go through Alberto Puello to do it, well then fuck it. Then that's the assignment. You know, it's a tough assignment. I gotta be honest with myself. This Dominican dude is dangerous. He's fucking dangerous, bro. And for Subriel's style, it even makes him that much more dangerous. I'm curious to see what Subriel looks like against this guy. Alberto Puello can do it all. He can do it all. And even with the pressure that Gary Antoine Russell was applying to him, and the way that Puello was cutting the angles and getting those shots in between, that's how I see him doing Subriel. Yeah, unfortunately, I think he's going to do Subriel like that. Now, if it depends, right, how strong Subriel truly is. Like, for instance, was it the fact that Puello was hitting Gary Antoine Russell with enough power that was making him retreat at times or cover up and not engage? And what Puello is really good at is timing the guy that he's going to go open up to throw the punch. Ja Puello's punch is coming him in the inside. You know what I'm saying? So that's why. What's up, man? Bill Haney's Secret King? What? What's up, Jay? Jaya Lopez? You know, the thing with the boxing with the UK. What's up, Carlos? Your African American brother, Prime Mike Tyson versus Muhammad Ali. That would never fight. That would never happen. Not even in heaven they'll ever fight. Mike Tyson idolized the fucking earth Muhammad Ali walked on. Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson revenged what Larry Holmes did to Ali, and he told him that in the locker room. I'm gonna make you proud. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get this one back for you. That's why he did Larry Holmes dirty like that. Iron Mike. Iron Mike would go to Ali's house when Ali was real bad in the stages, and he would like that. And Mike Tyson would spend hours with him, just sitting there with Ali, just whatever Ali wanted to do. Mike was like, yeah. If Ali was like, I want to fly a unicorn right now, and Mike would try to find him one. Mike loved Ali way too much. That fight absolutely would never happen. And out of respect for Mike Tyson and Ali, because I love them both, I would never go down a fantasy breakdown even. This kind of thing is like a taboo in the back of my head. Because Mike's one of like my favorite heavyweight of all time, and Ali's the GOAT. You know what I mean? That's just, and then the love that he had for him. If you knew their stories and their background, the way Mike talked about Ali, you couldn't say anything. And when Mike was 23 years old, 21, 20, or any age for that matter, but I'm talking about the most dangerous version of Mike Tyson. If you were to hint to Mike Tyson, yo, Ali sucks, your teeth are gonna fly out. Yo, you couldn't say anything around Mike about Ali. Whatever Mike said, that's what it was. Ali walked up, Mike Tyson would walk in the building. I said Ali's the best champion in the whole entire world, the existence of mankind. You're right, Mike. Then Ali's the best. There's no other fighter on planet Earth that can. Whatever you say, Mike. You know what I mean? Mike just, and that's how it should be. That's how it should be from like generation to generations. These kids, instead of being disrespectful, they should pay homage to the men and women that paved the way for them to have the platform today that they be able to win a world championship. You know what I'm saying? Like the Shakur Stevenson, Tank Davis, and all them. Even though Floyd Mayweather's arrogant and he can say some shit, they should look past all that and still show Mayweather that kind of respect. You know, because of they. Where would boxing be if it wasn't for men like that? You know what I mean? Would you have your world stage? Nah, you should be appreciated about that. And maybe the people that come after you would appreciate you. You know, because at some point, Tank Davis is going to get old, and Shakur is going to get old, and Keyshawn Davis is going to get old. And pretty soon it's going to be that nice, hot, shiny thing coming out, knocking everybody out. And all of a sudden, they're going to say, hey, Keyshawn Davis, why don't you fight the next young superstar? Blah, blah, blah. Keyshawn's going to be like, I'm over here with it. And they're going to be like, nah, you ducking him now. And the young dude is gonna say Keyshawn's a bitch, his belts is all bitches, and this bitch, and he's a bitch, and blah blah blah, this and that, and blah blah blah, and not showing any respect for what they did to keep the sport alive for you to come up. I'm not saying kiss these dudes' asses or bend and kiss the ring. I'm just saying show some respect for the men and women that did it, and some of them ain't with us anymore. You know, be thankful that they carried the torch so that you can perform. Naoya Inoue owes these guys respect, and he gives it to them. He gives it to them. You know, I remember he was talking, and it was kind of strange, but not strange at the same time when I heard Naoya Inoue talk about his dad's favorite fighters and shit, and who his dad's favorite fighters were coming up, and what, you know what I mean? They were Mexican fighters. And It was like I was, and some Americans, and it's good. It's good to, boxing history is rich, and there are some men and women that do pay homage and respect to these fighters that came before us. You know what I mean? There were a lot of moments in boxing that I can think back, particular events and stuff, and I was thankful for all that shit, bro. All the blood they gave me, man. I remember when Felix Trinidad fought uh what was his name there? I just saw him on fucking on some YouTube channel, fucking what was his name there? That he was a punk. What was it? Sometimes I watch so much boxing that it all crams into my head, and I'll be forgetting like simple shit. I'll be having like boxing brain farts, right? Um, uh, Oscar De La Hoya fought him too. What was his fucking name? Now I'm gonna want to look up his. It'll come to me in a second. But I remember when Felix Trinidad fought a lot of those fights. I remember the Oscar De La Hoya fight that Trinidad didn't look so good. I was in attendance for the Hopkins fight. I was in New York live at that fight. I actually watched that fight. Um, uh, but Felix Trinidad, like, hit a lot of. I'm still trying to remember this dumbass dude's name, bro. Fucking, I hated him so much, bro. He used to come in, try to smoke the cigarettes, and like do stupid shit. I remember when he was arguing with Oscar, he said some shit about his wife. That's why I never liked him. He was a little tough dude. He was trying to tell homeboy he got stabbed and shot, that he don't play with Barbie dolls in a post conference. What was his fucking name again? I forget his name, man. Right now I'm forgetting it. I know exactly who he is. Fucking boxing, bro. Now it's gonna make me look it up. It's gonna make me look it up. It's gonna make me look it up. Now I gotta find out his name. Wait a minute. Where am I? What am I doing? Okay. Uh, all right. The way I could probably. Who the fuck is that? Nurse be slamming the door downstairs like she's. You know what I'm saying? I have to give her a two-piece. Like, hold up. You slam doors in here and shit. I have to hit her with the wah. Ricardo Mayoga. Ricardo Mayoga. I fucking hated Ricardo Mayoga. He used to talk so much shit. He always talks shit. Yo, when Felix Trinidad whooped his ass, bro, yo, that was crazy. Um, the Fernando Vargas fight with Felix Trinidad was a great fight, but the Ricardo Mayorga fight was better, I think. It was a better moment in time. Nah, I don't know. I don't know. The Mexican Puerto Rican rivalry, getting that win, that was big. That was big. That was a big one. Um, the way fucking Felix Trinidad left check hooked him in the first round and dropped him like that. Didn't he drop him like twice in the first round? If my memory serves me correctly. Felix Trinidad dropped him, but and then Fernando Vargas came back and dropped Felix Trinidad in the fight. Then that 12th round was brutal, bro, for Fernando Vargas. That was just brutal. That left check hook was Felix had a check hook. It was a natural flowing check hook. It was there's not a lot of boxers I've seen to this day that got a meaner check hook than Felix Trinidad. The way he throws that check hook, sometimes he would excessively throw it, and like the fighter knew this was gonna be the punch or whatever, but sometimes they couldn't avoid it. They just couldn't time it. And once he got you, that you stepped just that centimeter closer to him, that check hook came out like nobody's business, man. That he had a monster check hook. Like fighters like Nonito Donaire had a decent left check hook. Donaire has a decent one. Naoya Inoue has a decent left hook, but not like Felix Trinidad. Not that kind of left hook, check hook. Felix Trinidad's left check hook was that of legends. You become a world champion with a left hook like that. Left check hook. You become a world champion with that kind of fucking left check hook. That shit was lethal. Lethal, lethal, lethal. There's a couple other fighters, yeah, that had a more line, had a good one. Uh Pernell Whitaker had a great one. A left check hook. It was fast. It was fast. But Pernell Whitaker was so much more. He was doing so much other shit in the ring that it was hard just to say this was his bread and butter. Because it was everything was his bread and butter with Pernell. He was doing too much shit. His jab was great. His fucking right hand was great. His right check hook was great. His movement, it was just, he was just doing so much good shit, other shit, but don't hook with a hooker. That's what you say. That dude Hooker too, he had a good hook. I remember him. But Felix, bro, that man was dangerous with that left check hook. He was dangerous. Yeah. But Puerto Rico, we have a big day in New York. A big week in New York. Because of course we got our woman greatest female champion of probably all time in history of female boxing is Amanda Serrano, and she's fighting July 11th. So I don't know how much longer we got with Amanda Serrano. This might be her last fight. I'm not sure what she wants to do with her career. She's signing a lot of women to MVP, and they're on the Netflix contract and shit. So, you know, ladies, my advice and my honest advice to the women, right? Women, you guys are new in leading the way in sports. You don't lead the way in the WNBA, but you have potential to lead the way. You just don't want to be helped. And in boxing, when we try to help you again, men, you want to lead your own way. Understandable, respectable. You want to be treated as equal, which is cool. The problem with women is that, and I mean this, you know, straight up. The problem with women is that you guys are at a disadvantage already. You guys are not born with the man's strength. Unfortunately, on the scale of things, our creators made you guys with mothers where you guys can conceive a child. I can't conceive a child as a man. So our creators, my gift from my creators to amend mankind was to have the strength to do the chores and to be the protector and the strength for the child maybe one day we would have, right? So God gave us that as a man, and he gave the women to have labor. Speed things up today's time. Today's woman wants to be tomorrow's man. The problem is you guys can have all the will in the world, the desire, the heart, the passion. You just don't have the strength and the ability to maintain it at that level to make it look like how we look. You understand? No matter how strong you guys can get, you're not gonna look stronger than the top men. So in order to even that off, the women have to make adjustments in their sport to make their sport better. And I said all of that to say this. It's a beautiful thing that the women got this Netflix deal. But women, as soon as you guys get in position to show woman power, you guys take over again. The entire card is a woman set card. Think, ladies, when men have boxing matches, we put you guys on our cards. There has been men boxing matches where that the women were headlining and the men today took the bad seat. But for the women to get this contract, now what they do, they made the entire Netflix card a woman's card. Yo, respect. And I love it. You know, you guys are making, but you got to recognize you need us. Men, you're going to need us. Just like we helped y'all shine up your sport. When you get there, don't turn your back on men. Because making it an all-woman card is going to, like, take away. It's like when Shaquille O'Neal said that about his daughter in the women's NBA, he said, yo, if you guys lower the rim just that much, the women will be able to dunk. And here comes the 6 women, all of 6 women that can dunk in the NBA, took offense to that. They said, nah, we don't want no help. Yo, we know you 6 women can dunk, but the rest of the league can't. And if you lower the rim that much, it would bring excitement to the game. I'm trying to tell you, wait until the first girl jumps up and dunks and makes a poster out of the next girl. Yo, that poster's gonna go, it's gonna be fucking epic, legendary, bro. The only thing that's missing out of the women's WNBA is the dunk. They got the passes, they got the shot, they got the three-point shot, they got the dribbling, they got the slickness, they got it all. The only thing that's missing is the slam dunk. Ladies, allow them to lower the rim that much, baby. And I don't mean to call you girls baby. I don't want to offend any girl. Just please, lower the rim that much. Yeah, you other tall girls can dunk, but the rest of them girls can't. You know what I'm saying? Yo, and like in boxing, when Amanda Serrano went against that and dumped her belt in the thing, in the trash, and said, no, we are women, we want 3-minute rounds, we want to be treated equal. Amanda, love, like, chill out. Allow the rounds to be 2-minute rounds. I'm telling you, women boxing will be more that excitement. Look what happened. 2-minute rounds. Women boxing haven't been on fire more. It's been on fire more than ever. Sometimes as men, we got to step in and just be like, ladies, no, you got to let us, like, correct this. You guys are, like, leading, like, learning how to lead and play in sports in the last 10, 15 years at a high level. It was only in high school and college level you guys had it. You guys don't know the first thing how to keep this. Work with the men, ladies. Please, work with the men. Work with the men and allow the men to, like, you know, like, so that you ladies' sport lives. I don't want to see the WNBA fail because I have daughters. And I want my daughters to be able to do whatever they want to do. But at least I want their sport to be entertaining, you know, shit like that, man. So, and then the ladies got to understand, for every lady that can do that and dunk, the next one is too far in between. For the men, every guy is born with strength, one stronger than the other, this, that, and the athletics ones, but there's just one right after another, man. Like college is just like a fucking endless line of fucking NFL future stars. Like in baseball, there's just too many of us. And with you girls, it's too far in between. And if you want to make it competitive, you gotta meet the other ladies, and you gotta throw some men on that fucking card in the Netflix, bro. Because for a woman, if you wanted the next to see the next Clarissa Shields or the next Amanda Serrano, and you go to a boxing match and every fight is dudes, and there's only one woman on the card, would you feel a certain way? If you were a woman, right? You would like to see more ladies on the card, wouldn't you? If you were a man and you went to go watch a boxing match and it was all women, no men, how do you really think that would make me feel? You know what I mean? Like, there's no dudes on your card? Like, what? You see what I'm saying? So, like, I just think in the sport, like, some of these top women, they're too aggressive with it. They're too, they want to, like, demand it too much. You know what I'm saying? Where that I'm like, ladies, y'all got this shit. Y'all in like Flynn. Like, look at y'all ladies shining in boxing right now. Look at some of these boxing matches. What was that boxing match with them two ladies? What was it? Ryan and Mayer. They was in there banging, bang, boom, 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 boom. 2 minute rounds, bro. Yo, that was a high action packed fucking woman's fight. I was over here like this. I was like, yeah, get it, girl. They was in there, bang, 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 bang. They was slugging it out. So I want to see their sport, and I want to see the next female girl champions. I gotta get more of my boxing knowledge with the females and shit, like Gabriella right now, Fedora. I want to watch her. I want to watch her rise. I'm watching her, you know. But ladies, like fucking the entire card is like all women, bro. I was like, damn, man. Like they should have put some kind of dudes on that card. Yeah, man. Every time the ladies take over something, it's like all women. Like, damn. Okay, go, girl power. But damn, you gotta be that blunt about it, right? Can you share? Like we shared with you. Damn, man. And they ain't put not one dude on a card. I ain't seen no dudes on a poster. So they're gonna fight on July 11th, and then we gonna fight. The men gonna fight July 12th in New York, and that's when I think a lot of Puerto Ricans are gonna be out there in New York, mainly showing off Edgar Berlanga, Shakur Stevenson, and Subriel Matias, all Puerto Rican fighters on the card. So that's gonna be good. So I was thinking about going out there to that fight. You know what I mean? And then there's this rumored fight that I've been trying to like save up for that I want to go to, just in case there's a chance that this actually happens with this fucking prison fight out there in San Francisco and shit, Alcatraz type shit. And I was like thinking, just in case they really do have a fight in that Alcatraz prison, I would like to have experience something like that. Cause you know you're gonna have to take a ferry to the fucking. It'd probably be like invite only, huh? That Saudi prince do that shit again, won't he? He probably would, like he did in New York, where like he blocked it all off and shit. Most people were like, "That's fucked up." Just a rich, eccentric billionaire fucking throwing a party for him and his friends. And what are we gonna do today? Well, I'm about to have the best boxers in the world just box in front of us, and I'm gonna block out everybody else. The reason for him blocking out everybody else is because you guys got to remember this shit. Some of you are meeting the Saudi prince, and your correlation with him is sports or boxing. Okay. There's a lot of our grandfathers and uncles and brothers that went out there to that fucking Saudi war. All right? Out there or whatever it is. I'm not too familiar if it was the Saudis, the Arabs. I don't know all the names like that. I never paid attention to the war. I don't listen to politics. I don't watch none of that shit. If we're gonna die, we're gonna die. I don't need to be worried about what's going on outside. If it finally comes down the street, then I'll handle it then. If not, I don't even want to know about it. Fucking. So I don't know about Iran, Africa. I don't know nothing about that. I couldn't even point them out on a map to you. I don't involve myself with that shit. It's just nothing. I'm not qualified to be like, hey, yeah, the military's got, man, you know what? They hired people for that. Let them worry about that. Until it comes down my street, then I can't do nothing. I can't do nothing about it way out there, now can I? So why even listen to it? That's my mentality with shit. Nah, there's just so many things that are fear based in this world. I'm not gonna be. It's like me coming home and thinking that there's a killer in my bathtub, or like in the night, I'm like walking downstairs thinking somebody. I'm not that dude. Every single time a thought like that gets in my head, there's no. Why would there be a killer hiding in my in my bathtub? And why would there be somebody downstairs in my house? If I walk downstairs, I do not train myself to live in fear. I quickly say, take that thought out of your head and walk through the dark. Walk through the dark. If something comes out in the dark, bro, it's going to come out in the dark. We'll take care of that when it happens. But I'm not going to be a victim in my own home. Pretty soon, you're going to be that dude that's in your house that won't leave your fucking room because you're scared if there's somebody downstairs. You're going to train yourself to think that way. It's fucking ridiculous. You become a prisoner to yourself. Nah, I don't live that way. I don't make shit up in my head. Though it pops in my head all the time, because this fucking brain never turns off, I just don't choose to be a victim. It's like when my basement, it got the light is turned off, and everybody's like, go downstairs into the basement. Now I just walk straight down there, turn the corner, turn on the light beam. I cut all that fantasy shit in my head. After you watch a scary movie and you think the monster's under your bed, I don't play that shit. I don't play that shit at all, bro. No, there's no monster under my bed, bro. Nope. 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 I'm not gonna turn myself into that scary person. Not gonna happen. If I'm in a situation, I just face it. Just like that. Because I notice that we start to develop and to scare ourselves with the things that we watch around us. All of a sudden, I'm coming home and it's like I don't want to open the shower curtain because there's some killer behind the curtain. What happens the day when you pull the shower curtain and the motherfucker's standing there? Now what? Right? You better be prepared to handle that. But if you're walking up to the situation already scared, then you if you was to pull it and see someone, you were already scared walking, that you're gonna panic and go and fall into a ball, or you freak out and start running. But if you're on that mindset where you're like, I don't give a fuck, hey, how you doing, bro, you're gonna fucking, that's it. There's none of that. I don't play that shit, bro. I'm not at home thinking, oh, I heard a creak. You know what I mean? Nah, bro. I don't do that shit. I'll be like, let's go check that out. Fuck that, bro. But nah, I don't live like that. Are you a boxer? Yeah, well, I was a boxer. I was a boxer, but the streets took my attention. I'm the definition of wasted talent. That's what I am. I'm the definition of wasted talent. Um, I was the talented fighter that the the homies in the neighborhood took notice to. I was attracted to fast money, fast cars, fast women, jewelry. This is me doling it down throughout my life. I've had big pieces of jewelry. I was flashy at some point. I'm up there in age now. I have my children. I've settled down in my life. I feel like I was one of the fortunate ones to survive my environment. I buried more than I remember the number 16, I think, because in actuality that's where I stopped counting how many of my friends I buried. I think it's the number's pretty much more higher than that now that I really honestly think about it. Um, and I just got out of my circumstances and shit. And my family is a fighting family. As you guys know, we got the gym down in Philadelphia, and I filmed the fights down there. Um, my father was a fighter. You guys, most of you guys on my channel know my dad because I used to have his picture out. Now it hangs in my hallway on the wall where it's supposed to be. So, like, if I would have to take it down and show you guys, I come from a long line of fighters and shit. But unfortunately, I made a lot of bad decisions in life, and that's all I can say about that. But in life, it teaches you just because you didn't make or missed your calling at one point in your life is not over. You can reinvent yourself. You can do things in the things you love. I love boxing, for instance, and I decided to reinvent myself in boxing. When I started this channel, I was like going into UFC for a little while when Conor McGregor was going through his era. Once he faded out, I faded out of that. And I had this belt right here. You guys remember this? It was my Conor McGregor UFC replica belt. And that's all I had when I started the channel. So, like, I put the belt up and shit. And my brother had, like, the other belt and shit. And the other third one, it was under here. So then little by little, I just started, like, getting stuff and making my background and ordering things. You guys were with me when I ordered these ones. I got them all the way across like this. The IBF, this Tom Brady. Tom Brady, throw me the ball. Throw me the ball, Tom. I'm open. You know what I'm saying? And like, and then you guys were with me when I got the Ringside magazine in Puerto Rico that the guy in the shop blessed me with the magazine and shit because he saw my channel. And throughout the years, I just accumulated a lot of stuff from different places and shit. But as far as boxing, I never made it pro or anything like that. I won a little Golden Glove thing, had some amateur fights. I put up my Golden Glove um, newspaper article. One of my subscribers on Round One Sports Talk went to the library and got the picture for me, man. I was very thankful. His name's Armando, and he's a very loyal subscriber to this day. He's still around, and I think he's working right now. He'll probably be on the late show tonight. I've been trying to go on late, guys, but me and my wife, we've been in the process of buying a truck. And yesterday they gave us a rental truck. So you know how they do, right? If you buy the other model or anything close, the rental they gave you is with all the bells and whistles, right? So that you go back and tell them, yeah, I want the upgrade virgin package for like 30 grand more. It's fucking ridiculous, right? So we took the basic one. So we got a Toyota Ford Runner, a 2025 Toyota Ford Runner. So we went and got one of those and shit. So that we're waiting for it to be delivered to us. So they gave us the rental and we fucking around in the Tundra last night. I'm like, big ass screen. I'm like, yeah, you know what I mean? So and then I didn't go on last night, but yeah, usually he be around and shit. But like, yeah, I started making all this shit and stuff for us so that we can have something to look at. And then I just started going out and interviewing these fighters. What up, Jones? Can I just call you Michael? Trump? What? Man, my eyes are bad. Bro, this is good. What's up, guys? Hi. What are my thoughts on Tank Davis? I just shared them. You can go back in the video and check it out later if you want. Like, in a nutshell, I think Tank Davis is a very talented fighter. I think he's very skilled in everything. I just didn't Haven't think that he's really been tested yet. His biggest win is Pedraza, and getting to the point where that this can't be every fight an unfortunate circumstance why we couldn't get the guy we wanted in the ring with Tank for the last 10 fights. His last 10 fights, I never asked for any of those guys. But I was always there supporting until one day Tank said, I'm gonna retire. And I was like, I was like, what you mean you're gonna retire? I wanna see you fight Devin Haney, Tio. I wanna see you fight these guys. What do you mean? After all these years of me buying these pay-per-views, you're gonna up and retire on us? I fucking lost it. I lost my mind. And since that day, see, I'm from the show me state. You're gonna have to show me. Yeah, you can talk all that shit what you want. I swear to God, as soon as you cross that line, baby, win, lose, or draw, I'm gonna give you my best. I will give you everything. That's my only promise. Yeah, I haven't won every fight in my life. Okay, but I'm still pretty. And I stay that way for a reason. And that's how I feel these champions should be. If you're gonna say and claim to be a champion, well then you're gonna have to do championship shit. In order to be a king, you're gonna have to do some king shit. Ryan Garcia claims that he's the king of boxing, King Ryan. Wow, what a king. You have never won a world title? Ryan Garcia has never won a world title. But you're a king. A king of what? Of shit talking? Because you ain't no champion. And Tank Davis, what are you? You can't laugh that much louder than Ryan Garcia. Yeah, you're a two-division world champion. Who the fuck did you fight, bro? And Shakur Stevenson, don't you look over here. Because your last performance is, you better get it together. You know? And Teofimo Lopez, just shut your mouth. Just shut it. You know? I'm getting sick and tired of these guys, bro. We know these guys more because of controversy or who than what they're doing in the ring. What a fucking era in boxing. So much talent. So much, bro. You could see the talent that is Tio. You could see the talent that is Shakur. You could see the talent in Tank Davis. You can't deny it. They're just not fighting like us, like my era. You know, I'm older than Manny Pacquiao. Put it that way. I'm older than Manny. Manny's about to fight fucking. Look how sad it is, bro. That fucking my legends gotta from my era gotta come out of retirement to fight these guys. You know what I'm saying? Like Manny's young to me. Alright? Just keep it funky, right? Like, and these boys ain't doing it, man. They're not. So much fucking talent. Look at Abdullah Mason. Look at Camille Moten. Look at Xander Zion. Look at Bruce Carrington. Look at Keyshawn Davis. Look, what of this era setting for those dudes? The president, the bar. Oh, defend your O. Don't take any chances. Retire undefeated. Fucking bullshit. We need to go back to that time where it's more important who you fought on your resume. How many champions did you fight? How many world fucking Hall of Famers? How many, you know what I mean? And that's what counted. Not that, oh, Tank Davis, you could retire undefeated all you want, but you're going to get massive scrutiny. And because of the fact that you don't have any big names with two division world champion, you just might not make it in the Hall of Fame, Tank Davis. And in 10 years, no one's going to know who Tank Davis was. So fight fans, tune in with me live tonight as I go on my regular setup. I got everything set up. I'm ready to go. I'm gonna go on live that way, and we'll kick it. We'll talk all this boxing, and I'll be at least be able to see y'all shit better, a little bit better. Oh my God, Yafi. I know you're saying something about the fourth duck. I don't know if that says build or bud. The fucking letters are too much. I'm sorry, my man, bro. If you're just tuning in right now, everybody in my channel knows I need glasses. I can't even see the number of the people that are in here, how many likes. So please hit those likes right now. I need some likes in the video. Hit that. Yeah, bye. So, that's my nurse for my grandfather. She's leaving and shit. At least they be sending a nurse to be helping me out and shit. Grandpa be going, he be getting some flashbacks from the war and shit. You know what I mean? Jumping up like, they outside. Kick open the door. And my man got his wits about himself. He was a sergeant major in the U.S. Marines. He was a major in like multiple like bases in the world. He has like hundreds and hundreds of like awards. Matter of fact, before I leave, you guys want to check out some of his shit? My grandfather's shit. This motherfucker's on some real hero shit. I ain't gonna show you who he is because he might have killed your grandfather, bro. So I don't want you to take this personal. But homeboy done did some shit. Killer, chill. That's security right there. You seen that, right? You see him pull up? Eat your leg off, bro. All right, real quick. I put this all together for him too. This is where his awards start. A lot of his awards. This wall right here I put up all the way to there. And then the awards go down there. And then these ones start here, right? So come on, there. A whole bunch more, right? All right, so they bronzed this hat. That's bronze. This is some bell from some barrack he did. Then without putting his picture on the thing, right? That's his like the people he trained. He got the flag thing there, that shit. They gave him one of them things, whatever that is right there. This is a piece of some building or something. They was out there doing some good boy stuff, right? So this is like some of his award things. He retired, they gave him this. They gave him that when he retired. The gold watch thing, the military watch. And gave him that. He got some military coin thing there. And then like whole bunch of stuff. They got the newspaper from D-Day. His father had some shit. He got like I think his pops or him, um they was fighting against the other people. Whether it was North Korea or the Vietnam War, I'm not quite sure what it was. So I guess they surrounded them dudes. And then like the highest rank of army dude that was captured by the US troops surrendered his bassinet, his sword, to the US guy. And because they like surrendered or whatever, I guess. So it's around here. So it's right here. Here it is. This is it. The dude had it on him. And when they surrendered, he surrendered his sword and their platoon surrendered. He gave him this. So this, whatever that says on it, man, I'm putting it on there. Some dude might be able to read it. That's my grandfather's sword. That's his. Your grandpa be killed my grandpapa. Yo, probably there's somebody out there got bodied, bro. So I'll just block out some of his name. But that's his shit right there. Sergeant Major, whatever that is. Then that's like his Arctic ring one. That's the other hat they retired. They retired this one. And then he got that one retired too. on it, and that's a watch with his name on it, military watch. Then like he got like a bag full of medals. His coat gear, this closet filled with all Marine shit. They got all the medals on them like that. All this whole shit. I gotta open it though. See them all? They're all in these like suit things. You unzip them, and they're all in there. You got a whole bunch of them, bro. Like, bro, this is a suit. There's a whole bunch of them. Everything. They all got medals. I don't want to like take that all out, but my man did some shit, bro. And what he did was at the end of his thing, that when he became the sergeant major, because early in his career, he only took orders and he went out and did wherever they sent him, right? But and then later in his career, he became sergeant major on the base. He was a sergeant major on a base, and then he would like teach like the young guys, the guys that were coming up, like teach them how to shoot, shit like that. Yeah, it was real good. It's real good. Real good shit. Real good shit. Grandpa did some shit, bro. This one right here was dope. Which one was it? This one. He said right there. That one. He was on some hero shit on that one. The one by his bed, the metal, that one I don't show. That was them beats on them action days. Them action days. And then what he did at the end, of his shit, they would send like the top picks from like the Rangers, the Navy SEALs, wherever they were from. He said the French, he trained some French dudes, multiple races of languages and religions and people from all the world. I'm thinking of a different word, not races or religion. Creed, walks of life. Men and women from different walks of life and different army branches, and he would train those guys. That's what he was doing, and he would make them the best of the best of that. And then wherever they would go from there, he said they didn't know. He just trained them in the base. That's it. So he made them more efficient at what they were already doing. That was his job. That's it. Yeah. He got a whole bunch of shit. Grandpa, you know what I mean? We talk about boxing. My man was out there doing it for real. He's out there playing real Call of Duty. He's that real Call of Duty shit right there. So, fight fans, I'm on to the next one after this one here at Round One Sports Talk. You've been amazing. Peace.